I've been hearing about a lot of problems with the PC version of Rage, so it's best I point out straight away that this review is based off my playthrough of the Xbox 360 version, which once installed to my machine ran perfectly and looked utterly jaw-dropping. It's easily the best looking game on a 360 with the new id Tech 5 engine covering Rage's post-apocalyptic landscape with some of the most varied and realistic textures I've ever seen on a console game. Every corner turned unleashes graphical excellence on your dewy eyeballs, and even though it must be pushing the Xbox to its absolute limit to achieve such beauty, the game never slows or drops below its 60 frames per second run speed. It truly is an amazing work of modern digital art. But is Rage a real-life case of that classic saying about beauty being only skin deep? Well? Oh wait, you want me to tell you? Sorry. People looking for a deep storyline will probably be a bit disappointed by Rage. As soon as your character wakes up from suspended animation in his damaged ark and enters a world devastated by the impact of a huge asteroid, he's picked up by John Goodman. Well, a guy with John Goodman's voice.
I know you got questions, but we gotta get moving.
And he's instantly given orders to go and wipe out a group of bandits who are a threat to the local settlement. He's not given a couple of days to sort his head out and come to terms with the horrors of the new world, or the fact that all of his ark mates are well and truly deaded. He's not even given a cup of tea or offered a shower. It's all, yeah, we rescued you, now go kill people. Chop chop. And the game continues like this all the way until the climax. There are no moral choices like in, say, Fallout 3. Here you just blindly follow orders without question. So all it boils down to in the end is you chat to one guy, go blow something up for him, come back, tell that guy you blew it up, he tells you to go somewhere to press a button, you come back and tell him you've done it, someone else tells you to kill some mutants, you go do that, and so on and so on and so on. It's about as deep as a Michael Bay movie, but at least it's enjoyable, unlike a Michael Bay movie. To travel between each mission in Rage's huge open world would take some time if it wasn't for the inclusion of its many vehicles which can be collected and upgraded as you progress. You start off with a humble quad bike, but as your character earns respect and completes quests, he's given larger cars and buggies which are stored in garages and are accessible to you each time you leave one of the game's central hub towns. By adding armour and weapons such as machine guns and rocket launchers to these vehicles, they can be turned into four-wheeled death machines, ideal for taking on the many bandit convoys which roam the wastelands. Each vehicle handles really nicely, and the inclusion of a limited boost really gives across an awesome sense of speed. While the run-ins with the bandits do feel slightly forced and always take place in the same areas, the way the cars control means that the combat here is just as much fun as when you're on foot. Which, when it gets going, is some of the most frantic, fast-paced and exciting shooting you will ever have had the pleasure of experiencing. As you explore ruined cities and bandit hideouts, vicious enemies will attack you from all angles. These foes range from radioactive mutants and monsters to armoured soldiers who come from the Authority, a self-imposed government of sorts. Enemies will act in different ways depending on what faction they're from. Smaller enemies, such as mutants and bandits, will rush at you, climbing up walls, swinging from pipes and combat rolling just before you discharge your weapon, making hitting them very difficult indeed, while larger enemies like the Authority soldiers will hunt you in groups, taking cover effectively and using their impressive AI to try and pin you down and blow your brains clean out of your noggin. To help you tackle these troublesome tough guys is a large arsenal of weapons, ranging from a rather ineffectual pistol which takes about 5 headshots to kill someone, right up to a sweet rocket launcher. Each weapon is capable of firing more than one type of ammo, so the combat shotgun, for instance, can be turned into a grenade launcher if you find the right bullets, while the awesome stealthy crossbow can fire electrically charged bolts and even mind control bolts that let you take control of your target before they explode, taking out any other bad guys unlucky enough to be standing next to them. My favourite weapon though is the wing stick, a kind of triple-bladed boomerang which feels really cool to use, especially if you score a sweet decapitation with it. The large range of weapons and the fact that you can carry all of them at once is a great old school feeling, and it's a staple part of making Rage feel just like an old school id shooter. Something new to an id shooter though is the inclusion of crafting. By scavenging piles of random crap which is dotted around the levels, and using plans which are awarded to you or bought from the game's merchants, it's possible to build gadgets which will help you on your quest. Lock grinders which open doors leading to hidden loot, sentry bots and even health restoring bandages can be knocked up in an instant if you have the right ingredients, so keep an eye out for collectibles because pretty much everything you can pick up can be used for making something, and if it can't you can just flog it down the local shops. Ka-ching! Crazily, Rage is such a huge game that the Xbox version comes with 3 discs. Disc 1 and 2 holds the main game, while the third disc is home to the multiplayer portion of Rage. Gamers expecting a classic slice of id's FPS flavoured multiplayer mayhem will be in for a bit of a shock. Instead of going the expected route, the multiplayer action here is all based around the driving sections of the game. While this vehicular combat may feel odd at first, it does actually become quite addictive and it certainly is good fun. I just don't think it's going to strike a chord with gamers in the way a classic deathmatch may have done. It's definitely worth checking out to see if it floats your boat though. Also included on the third disc is a co-op mode which lets 2 players, online or in split screen mode, battle through mini storylines known as Legends of the Wasteland. There are 9 in total and they take place in familiar locations from the main game, although the experience is a much more basic one with no inventory or crafting systems in place. All the items you can use are found ready-made, dotted around the levels.
Nice job. If I were a target drone, I'd be nervous.
I absolutely loved my time with Rage, and although the slower moments and shallow story may be enough to put some gamers off enjoying it fully, the gameplay experience I had was definitely one of the best I've had this year. If you love your old school shooters and want to play a game that looks so good it will literally melt your eyeballs, then Rage is a total must-buy. I should probably point out that it won't actually melt your eyeballs though. That was a lie. Mine are fine.